Hey, what it do, people? This your girl, Miss Danny Baby, back one more again with another video. Want to touch base with y'all, see what's up, see how everybody doing, how everybody doing. It's been a run, y'all, since last year. I've been taking time to focus on the self, making sure I'm all right, but at the same time, being very aware of what's going on in the world. And I just want to run my mouth for a few minutes if y'all don't mind. I'm showing this beautiful picture here of a restaurant scene because I just went out to eat this past weekend, doing weekend shit, but it's a restaurant that's one of my faves here where you can dine indoors or outdoors. It's like a beer house, one of them little fancy brew houses or whatever. And I was excited to go because I'm like, okay, I'm a summer girl and let me go outside to eat. But not only was I not able to eat, and the setting for this particular place is similar to this, not exactly, but similar to this, how the outdoor patio area is with the lighted candles and everything. It's similar to this scene. And you can see like the sky and whatnot. But got there, lo and behold, nope, had to eat indoors. Had a very nice gentleman that was serving our table. And it just occurred to me, one second, I gotta sneeze. Hold on. All right, y'all, I'm back, I think. But it just occurred to me that like, man, this is like the second or third time, actually the third time I've gone to a place within the last month to go out to eat and was not able to eat outside. And that's my favorite thing to do during the summer. Is like you get to enjoy your meal, but plus enjoy like the warmth of the outside. And I was like, okay, it's cicada season, the disgusting big cicada monsters. So maybe I'm thinking maybe they're making us eat indoors because they don't want like cicadas flying in people's food or on the table and whatnot. So I'm thinking, okay. And by the way, the cicadas, they seem to be settling down a bit, so I don't know if they're dying off. I guess it depends on what part of the country you are, but where I am, they're not as bad and heavy right now. So hopefully they'll be going away soon. But anyway, so I'm like, okay, this is the third time, so I'm like, okay, it must be the cicadas. So I decided to ask the waiter, like, yo, is there a reason we can't eat outside? I was really looking forward to eating outside, and he was like, you know what? That is a good question. He wasn't even like offended or anything. He was like, that's a very good question, but he said, you know what? We're actually short staffed. He was like, I work another job at Amazon, and I came here to help out with management because I used to work here at a long time ago, and I came back to help them because they were just getting swamped. And I was like, oh. So that brings me to the point of this video. It's many points. I'm just kind of rambling here, but I just want to get you guys' take on it. Have you witnessed like trying to go out to eat and maybe service was slower than usual? And were you like forced to eat indoors even though the weather is good these days? He explained to me, nope, it wasn't the cicadas. It's actually a short workforce. He was like, I don't know what it is, if it's the stimulus money or the unemployment. But he was like, man, I've had to work, but a lot of people, they've been getting the unemployment. And I thought about it. I was like, that could be. That could be the case, but at the same time, is this a trend because Americans are tired? Is this like COVID or C19 fatigue? And are people just stressed out and tired and taking time to themselves so they're not in a rush to go back to the workplace? Because I'm thinking it's more than just laziness. I didn't tell this particular guy that, but this is what I'm thinking. And I've seen elsewhere where some people have described it like as a silent like strike. It's like almost like the American public is rebelling to some degree. So I don't think it's just pure unadulterated laziness, even though, there have been scandals about people getting money like through fraudulent means, but I don't think that's the case for most people. Um but before I get into that, take a look at these pictures, y'all. Don't y'all just love a good dining experience? Like I just pulled up some really pretty ones here. I think this one is a nice one. Um, it just does something to me. It allows me to relax my mind. You come back from the place invigorated. Here you got a bridge. Where's this? Oh, that's in Istanbul. So that's overseas. That is absolutely beautiful. Look at that. And see, culture in this country, I don't think they really like to see the regular common folk relaxing their mind and being able to get some R&R. Not too much. 1 or 2 weeks a year, that's about all you need. And the standards 5-day work week, y'all, I'm over that. Because the weekends or the 2 days that you might get off, and some people don't even get that. Some people are down to like 1 day a week, working doubles and stuff like that. When you get your little time off, you do a lot of that, running errands and trying to uh, rush in a whole bunch of sleep, which does not work at all. It actually ends up backfiring. So yeah, I think it's just like a silent rebellion, against the status quo. They're gonna have to come up on some wages and actually give the employees more benefits, give them some incentives. I mean, the birth rate is down in this country. A lot of baby boomers that have been saving like they're supposed to and have invested their money. If they're younger baby boomers, a lot of them are retiring early. They like, F all of that. I ain't waiting because this world is getting pretty crazy. It's time for me to live my life like right now, and I can't say that I blame them. Because in this realm, you only live once unless you reincarnate. But I was taking a look at several articles talking about the shortages. As you can see here on this Forbes article, this cat, and he's a cook. Um, his name's Emilio. He said he worked 7 years, and that's some of the most grueling work. I mean, they bust their asses in these restaurants, y'all, and they are some of the most dedicated people, but a lot of them are tired. If you look, a lot of the places that are having trouble getting workers back, even though sometimes they get tipped well, but their bottom line base pay is not high at all, and a lot of times they don't have good benefits. But he said he hasn't worked during the COVID-19 pandemic and says he won't look for a job until the fall. He just said that he's just not ready to do that. And I might link the article at the bottom of this video, but that's like a sentiment that a lot of people are having. So that's why they're trying to cut unemployment. But that may or may not backfire. If they try to cut unemployment and force people back into a work situation, especially, like I said, more the financially stable people that are a little bit older, like the baby boomers and whatnot, they might just say, man, they might chuck the deuces and just get on out of there. And a lot of them have already done that. So what they're trying to do is cut the unemployment way early. It was supposed to last until September. Look at this. Another um, now hiring sign. A lot of restaurants are suffering. Minnesota and that's something. Minnesota has a lot of things going on. Going back a few years, even before George Floyd, it's just a lot of catastrophes happening there. Philando Castile, they've had bridges to collapse, and it's like this disaster type of energy is like spreading countrywide. But anyway, saying here that let's see, let me move this over just a little bit. Okay, like here it says a drive on just about any Minnesota highway reveals dozens of now hiring signs from desperate employers, some offering hundreds of dollars in signing bonuses. Manufacturers, restaurant chains, agribusinesses, and healthcare organizations are among the many companies that say they're in dire need of workers. In the Twin Cities, help wanted signs hang from windows of independent restaurants, cafes, auto repair shops, and countless other businesses. It's a remarkable about face from a year ago when government mandated shutdowns and a temporarily contracted economy forced many Minnesotans out of work. Now that's what's tripping me out because they're acting like the citizens themselves caused this shutdown. Um, they're the ones that shut the country down, and now they're blaming the employees and the workforce for the slow economy getting started back up. Actually, this was like a miracle in disguise because it's like when they forced everything to shut down, it forced people to sit down and take a look at their life and see if they're actually going and headed in the direction on the path that they want to go. Excuse me, y'all, nose is running, but it made a lot of people think, and then I guess a lot of people are like, hey, I'm not going in the direction that I want to go. This is not where I want my life to be for any extended period of time. If you think about office spaces, and not just the restaurant industry, office spaces, corporate America, overzealous micromanagement, being forced to deal with energies and people that you might not necessarily hate, but you know, you don't necessarily want to be around a lot of people. It's draining, especially for a energetically sensitive person. And I consider myself that. And being around a lot of people's energy at one time, it could be absolutely draining, especially doing it day after day after day. So a lot of people are just opting out, guys. And it's not just Minnesota, it's countrywide and worldwide, actually, but especially in the United States. So what their answer is to make people miserable or desperate. So I found this on this website, time.com, and it's gotten all the dates where these states are actually rejecting money from the government to help the citizens. They're going to send it back early when it's supposed to go, I think, until like the end of September. Again, the citizens did not cause this disaster. The citizens did not cause C19. The citizens did not cause this emergency. This emergency, supposedly, according to the official story, came from overseas, came here, and then it spread. And then we suffered the repercussions for it. But if you take a look here, depending on where you guys live, look, some of them, the expiration date has already expired. Alabama, like you see here, is going to stop giving the extended unemployment benefits on June 19th. Alaska stopped June 12th. Arizona on the 10th. A lot of these other ones is going to be the end of this week is the last week for the extended unemployment benefits. And I'm just going to slowly scroll so you can see if your state comes up. We got Iowa, Maryland, Mississippi. It's 25 states altogether out of the 50. Tennessee is going to go until July 3rd. But look at this. They're trying to force. And you notice a lot of Midwestern states, I'm noticing, not all of them, but a lot of Midwestern and Southern states. So this might backfire. What are they going to do? What if people potentially still don't go back? Because it's like, damn, you're getting slave wages in a lot of cases. You don't have much time for yourself, and the time that you have for yourself, you want to sleep or do chores. You really don't have enough time to let your hair down. And is the money worth it, essentially? So some people, hopefully a lot of people have found other means of income, because I'm telling you, the way the corporate structure is like they're feeding off of the masses, and it's not a fair exchange. Not at all. It is not a fair exchange. They do say that you can, even if they do cut the extended benefits, you can still reach out to your state's unemployment office to see if you could at least get the basic amount. So for those of you guys that are getting cut off, make sure you reach out to your unemployment office to see if you could at least still get the basic amount, and see if your particular state has some other assistance beyond the basic amount that you could potentially benefit from. So that's that. Let's see. And look at even Biden, y'all's president that y'all voted for. Even Biden telling you these employers need to pay more. A lot of people didn't like this video, but and this is on Forbes website, but check this out.
But I really think the public understands, and they're seeing. The proof is in what's happening. It's now projected our economy is going to grow above 7% this year. Projections from Wall Street to the Fed is going to continue to grow. We're going to increase more, and guess what? Remember, you're asking me, and I'm not being critical, y'all. I really mean this. It was legitimate questions you're asking me. Asking me, well, guess what? Employers can't find workers. I said, yeah, pay them more. This is an employees bargaining chip now. What's happening? They're going to have to compete and start paying hardworking people a decent wage. And by the way, talk of inflation. The overwhelming consensus is going to pop up a little bit and then go back down. No one's talking about this great thing. So again, if it turns out that what we've done so far, is a mistake, it's going to show. It's going to show the economy's not going to grow like it wasn't before. People aren't going to have jobs with increased pay like it was before. People are going to be out of work like it was before with no options. Unemployment's going to continue to climb instead of continue to go down. If that happens, my policies didn't make a lot of sense. But I'm counting on it not. That's why counting on it's working. I've got to get a helicopter.
So that's y'all's president. So that was that. And with the changes that are happening, what we're also hearing is that C19 is making a resurgence, and this is weird. And here's a map that's tracking the resurgence. And it's supposed to be like another variant that's coming out called the Delta variant. And they're saying that the states that are going to be hardest hit are the states that don't have high vaccination rates. It looks like the darkened states like California, Massachusetts, New York, DC, some of those places, the darkened blue are the ones that have the higher vaccination rates, but the rest of the country is kind of not as vaccinated. I believe Biden's initial intention was for most of the country to be vaccinated by July 4th. I forget what percentage he said. think he was trying to get 70. Yeah, saying it right here. Biden's 70% goal by July 4th, and a lot of people ain't feeling it. Got to be careful what you say on these here YouTube streets. But I just encourage everybody to get your exercise, get your sunlight, get your rest. And that goes for me too. I'm preaching to the choir and preaching to self. And keep your immune system up, you know. For those of you that make a decision, and it is our choice at this point. If I decide to go deeper into that, I'll place it on another platform like I've done a previous video. Had to put it on BitChute, and I suggest those of you that have not done so, subscribe to me there. But on this platform here, I have to kind of tiptoe and be careful. But this is public information, so it's not like I'm saying anything that they haven't said themselves. So just take away from that what you may. But this is the COVID tracker for the states that are anticipating high rates. So it's going to be a weird late summer and fall. And the other thing I wanted to mention about the restaurants, y'all, isn't it weird that with COVID supposedly slowing down and the economy, they're trying to make the economy do better, it's forcing everybody to eat indoors. Now, when this pandemic initially first started, they were saying that, for the restaurants that we're going to allow to stay open, make sure you have your patrons outside, because at least people won't be coughing and sneezing and breathing their germs, their C19 germs on each other. And a lot of places where it gets cold earlier and for longer, like in the East Coast and the upper states, the northern states, they were kind of nervous about that, because it's like, yo, we get cold early. Shit, by October, it's too cold to be putting people outside. What are we going to do? So, a lot of them had to really hustle and grind for that PPP and idle and everything else, as well as the rest of the country. But I'm sure a lot of those type of businesses in those areas really needed assistance, really big time. But interesting, they were forcing people to eat outside. That was the suggested methodology in order to stay safe. But now that C19, before this Delta variant started making its ugly head known, we were told to eat outside. But now a lot of people are inside because of a labor shortage. So do you guys think, is this going to cause an increase of cases because of all these people being stuffed inside like a tamale or burrito inside of an establishment, when we have all this beautiful weather out here where people can be eating outside but they're forced to eat indoors? Like, go figure. I mean, if we still have a pandemic looming around, that kind of seemed kind of nasty, forcing people to eat, you know. And I'm telling you, this particular restaurant that I ate at, it was crowded. People was hustling in there. Um, it was a lot of people. And the other restaurants where I had the same issue, they had a lot of people as well. But back to what I was saying. So, me, the curious person that I am, I looked up the word. First, look at this headline. This headline here, it says, highly contagious Delta variant could cause next COVID-19 wave. This virus will still find you. This was just put out there yesterday, CBS. So it's like it's trying to scare the public. It's like we're getting mixed messages. And that's another reason why I say that the people are having C19 fatigue. Like, mofos is over it. They're completely over it. It's like the cortisol levels in people's bodies. It's like this up and down. That's why you haven't seen even myself reporting a lot on this mess. Not only because of the censorship is on my last nerve. People can't speak their mind. They're trying to stifle voices And so that's aggravating, and it's not even the worth the time. I mean, it's worth the time to inform people and just to get a feel of the common folk. I'm not saying you guys aren't worth it. We all are worth it, but the time and effort to only to be struck down and a video snatched or something, it just drains you. And then hearing all the bad news, I just didn't have the mental energy to put up all the bad news. It's very draining, and you have to go back in your corner and heal and recharge. So I will put up information as I see fit, or that I energetically have the gumption to do. But yeah, but look at this. I remember during COVID, first of all, during Trump's presidency, it was real exhausting because they were always talking about how much he was saying this and saying that on his platforms and whatnot. It was always in red, or it was always like in CNN and everything, and it was always some emergency situation that was happening that they would have in big bold red letters. It's like, damn. But even as he exited the office, they still had a bunch of stuff in red letters: emergency this and emergency that. It's only in the last like 2 or 3 weeks we've gotten a break from that. And I think it's because they're trying to give this facade that everything is kind of okay, but kind of not. So it's like it's leaving you destabilized just with that, because stuff seems like it's okay, but I'm expecting some stuff to hit the fan by the time the summer's over, and they're kind of warning you here. So again, I'm just asking everybody to take care of themselves, get plenty of sunlight because you're going to need it during the winter months. Pump that body full of as much sun as you can get. And for those of you that maybe work crazy shifts and can't get a decent amount of sunlight, make sure that you take your vitamin D supplements, especially to my people of color. We need that vitamin D, but it's better to get that natural sun whenever you can. But here they're warning you, talking about it. You can't run, you can't hide. Um, and it says whether it's airports, NBA games, concerts, crowds are gathering across the nation as Americans start a return to pre-pandemic life. But it says, but with just 45% of Americans fully vaccinated and only 16 states that have fully vaccinated more than half of their populations, health experts are worried about the spread of the highly contagious Delta variant. It's 60% more contagious than the Alpha variant discovered in the UK. So, Delta, everything has meaning. Everything has meaning. I'm like, okay, why are they calling it this? Now, they might give you a reason, but you can look up these things. And the basic word of a delta is a letter. It's a Greek alphabet letter, but another reason or definition of it is saying that it's a landform. Actually, um, it's a landform at a river, at the like a mouth of a river, and it's where the river is flowing from the mouth of the river, where it exits out into like a triangle, but it dumps a lot of sediments that cannot be carried away. So it's trying to carry away the sediment that deposits there, but it can't. And me and my crazy mind, I'm like, metaphorically speaking, how can that be applicable? And I'm thinking maybe the previous the previous waves of COVID, it just didn't hit like they wanted it to hit. Wasn't hitting right. So perhaps they're calling this the mother of all mothers right now, as far as infections go, because they need something to sit, to settle, to implant itself in our psyches and in our minds, like for real, for real. It's not like we haven't been already freaking PTSD'd up in this mug. from all this craziness that has been going on in the last year and a half, from friggin' riots, fighting, crime waves. And I got a video I want to do about the crime wave that's hit this country. And now this virus, it's topsy-turvy, up and down, it's coming to find you, can't run, can't hide, but they want it to stick, like stick in your head, like you better get this, you better get vaccinated, because if you don't, the virus is going to find you. So I think that's the message there. I think it's some underlying reasoning why they call it the Delta variant. um and this is just, food for thought, people. And this, again, this is not a scare tactic. This is something you can find on CBS News. So YouTube, chill. But here on CBS News, they told us that even a Royal Caribbean cruise that set sail earlier this month in June 2021, everyone, it was a celebrity cruise line that is part of Royal Caribbean. A celebrity cruise ship, actually, they vaccinated everybody, but two people still came up with C19. So I need some explanation here. Like, okay, if everyone gets the stick and prick, will that still keep people from getting sick? I suggest everyone do their research. But yeah, whole cruise line, and they had to quarantine these people, the people that had it on the cruise ship. And can you imagine paying thousands of dollars to go on a cruise ship? And they tested everybody that went on the cruise ship. That's how they said that they were able to find those particular people so fast, but they still ended up quarantined. So you've taken your stabbing jab, your stick and prick, your injection, but you pay thousands of dollars for a cruise, but then you still get quarantined. That's wild. And they said that parts of India is still on, they're on lockdown. They're getting locked down as we speak. Um, and they call it the Delta Plus. Like, damn, Delta Plus. That's just making it seem all the way bad. And it's saying it's starting to worry global experts. So I'm going to ask you guys, do you think this is headed for another shutdown? And if there's another shutdown and they're cutting off unemployment money, let's say hypothetically, and I'm not trying to prophesy doom and gloom, but let's say hypothetically they have to shut a lot of stuff down again because this Delta variant spreads like wildfire. How long will it take? You see how they're slow pokey about the stimulus money. Other countries have been getting stimulus money every month to their regular citizens, but here you're lucky if you get something every 3 or 4 months. So if they shut it all down, how long will it take for them to get the pipes running again, to get the money back to these states so that they could help the public? Or are they planning just not giving you nothing, even if stuff shuts back down? Because I'm sorry to say, a lot of these restaurants are struggling, and if they're not getting incentivizing people to come to work with better pay or some type of benefits, and the incentives are not high enough, some of these places might be forced to shut down or have shorter hours, which is going to suck when you're talking about like summer and early fall, when you still want to go out and have fun and let your hair down. Because like I said, a lot of us are stressed out and we need that R&R. But yeah, it says that this Delta variant has been discovered in India and it is spreading around the world. Um, and some people say this is conjectures just to get you scared. And I do believe the world is a stage. But let's go for the understanding. Let's just say it is real. How are they going to handle it going forward? And they're even telling you, and other on in other periodicals and um, articles online, they're telling us that the recovery is far from complete, and the Delta variant hasn't even hit good, really. The participation rate from employees across this nation, they said it's been falling for 2 decades, so at least 20 years. Um, and the pandemic just kind of made stuff worse. It says it's been falling from this article here says it's been falling for 2 decades. A fail a falling participation rate means that more people are unable or unwilling to work at the prevailing wage rate. And the effect is threefold: slower economic growth because fewer people are working, a rising dependency ratio because fewer workers to support those who are not working, and higher tax rates. And y'all, don't get me started on this housing market. Y'all, if you're looking for a house, you have my sympathies. This market sucks as far as like the housing. It's very overinflated. So we don't know when the rug is going to be pulled pulled on that as well either, because a lot of stuff is overpriced. Now, if you're a seller, this is awesome for you because you can get a lot of bang for your buck. But for those that are looking for housing, it's hard to find something that's reasonably priced and decent. You don't want to move into a shack, you know what I'm saying? You want something good bang for your buck. You want something that's nice that you can deal with until you upgrade from that, if you plan on upgrading. So that's something to think about as well. And from what I'm hearing, word on the streets is that a lot of these conglomerates, big companies, are buying up big sections of real estate for a very low dollar amount. So they have these big bundles of real estate. They're buying them up for pennies on the dollar, and then they intend to lease them to the public. It's like ownership, home ownership is not being encouraged right now as much as it has been in the past. So can you imagine if we have a country full of people that are just leasing or renting and no ownership? That's something to think about. Now, technically, even when you get a mortgage, you don't own it all the way there either, because if you don't pay the taxes, then guess what? You lose that home. However, you have some leverage and some wiggle room with a mortgage. You have some standing, you have equity. If the state comes to sweep up the home because they want to build something and take it by eminent domain, they have to compensate you. But if you're in a rental property, you're just out on your ass. You're more vulnerable um, if you don't have any stake or any ownership in that. So for those of you that are looking for homes, keep your eye on that as well. Some people say wait it out, wait, because like I said, the rug will be pulled on this market as well, and the housing prices will drop. They should drop if history serves as a lesson on that. But in the meantime, it's really, and then for those that have to emergency move, it's like the market is oversaturated, so people are even sweeping up all the apartments, at least the decent ones, like the really nice apartments. A lot of those are being taken up really fast, so it's like, damn, you gotta move into a shack or have to wait a long time before you're able to actually buy. So just keep your ear to the streets as far as like this mortgage situation is going, and the housing markets. That's something that we need to keep in the back of our heads, and also the value of the dollar. that's on shaky ground right now as well. So it's a lot of things that we have to discuss, y'all, and keep in mind. But at the same time, I want to end this video on a positive note. Get out there and enjoy yourself. Get to some restaurants, and if you can find one that allows you to enjoy the scenery and the outdoors as well, go to some of those. Um, and just relax. Go to the park, go to the beach. If you live in a beach state, go to the river, go skating. Roller skating is pretty fun. And just, get back in touch with who you are. And I'll be back with more videos, like I said, as energy permits me to do, energy and time. But I would love to hear your comments and love to hear what you guys think on these topics. And I hope you are enjoying yourself and taking care of yourself. And until next time, peace out.